Today on MTG Unpacked, we're getting stuck into the Modern Horizons 3 Collector Edition Commander deck, Graveyard Overdrive. So this is a black, red, green color combo, also known as Jund. So as you might expect, this deck is all about graveyard synergies, and also the Lurgoyf. The commander here is Diza the Restless. And we also get here a collector booster sample pack, 2 borderless profile cards, 100 card deck with 15 new cards, deck box, 10 double-sided tokens, 4 Let's Display, Commander Life Wheel, Strategy Insert, and Reference card. Alright, so let's get to ripping here. So the collector edition box goes for about $137 US on TCG Player. Welcome Jund superfans, that's fun. And the regular version going for about $51 US at time of filming. Alright, so we'll get our deck out of here. And then what do we got in this envelope? A whole bunch of stuff. And of course we also get the usual punch outs here. Very shiny. And then, let's see, we've got Life Will here. So this thing, not as great as I was expecting, going up to 40. And pretty much the same as what they put in even the cheaper commander decks. Here we have a what is loosely described as a deck box. So sort of flimsy deal. Very shiny though, and that should fit a fully sleeved deck, although I think depending on what sort of sleeves you use, it could be a bit of a tight fit. And then let's take a look at our collector booster sample pack. So these things give you a little bit of a taste of collector boosters. Let's see how we do today. So what is this? Voted most likely to bring back banding. Okay, so scan that QR code. Oh, mythic Uggin's Labyrinth. Okay, we'll take that. Nice borderless art. That's pretty cool. And hard evidence with the retro border. So actually, that's probably the best pull we've had out of the sample packs for all of these commander decks. So that is the only different thing you'll find in these. Everything else should be identical. Let's take a look here. Graveyard Overdrive. Playing the deck. It's time to Jund 'em out, as they say. So yeah, your most important asset is your graveyard. We've got commander rules here in case you're new to the format. And then on the other side here we have some lore about Diza the Restless. So that is the commander of this deck. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. So let me know in the comments, are you planning to pick up any of these commander decks? Which is your favorite? We've actually covered all 4, including this video. So we've been taking a look at the collector versions, which are all foiled out. Let's see what we've got here. So we have display commander. Let's separate that out. And you'll notice a little bit of card curvature there. So they have not fully solved that problem. So we'll have 4 piles there. Let's take a look at the foil commander here. So this is also in the Ripple foil. Diza the Restless. Thicker cardstock purely for display. So we'll set that one aside. And let's take a look at the regular version here. So you do get this portrait artwork. So we have Diza the Restless, legendary creature, human scout. It's a mythic 5/6 for 2 black, red, and green. Whenever a Lurgoyf permanent card is put into your graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, put it onto the battlefield. And whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a Tarmogoyf token. And if you're not aware, the Tarmogoyf was a legendary card in Magic history. Not so much these days. It's not played as much as it used to be. And also, I think they do not have it in this deck. They just have the Tarmogoyf tokens, so a little bit disappointed by that. Next up, we've got Corum the Undertaker. Looks like Bane from Batman with the mask there. Legendary creature, human warrior. It's a mythic. 0/5 for 1 black, red, and green. Corum the Undertaker gets +X/+0, where X is the greatest power among creature cards in all graveyards. Awesome. Whenever Corum attacks, each player mills a card. During each of your turns, you may play a land and cast a spell from among cards in graveyards that were put there from libraries this turn. Then we have Terminate. Instant for black and red. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Demolition Field. It's a land. Tap for colorless for 2. Tap, sack it. Destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls that land's controller. May search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Then we have a Command Tower, another land. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Twisted Landscape, another land. Tap for colorless. Tap, sack it. Search your library for a basic swamp, mountain, or forest card. Put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, and you can cycle it for black, red, and green. Then we have Grizzly's Salvage. Instant for black and green. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. So you'll notice there's a bunch of cards for filling your graveyard, or cycling will do that as well. We have Yavimaya Elder. Creature, human, druid, 2/1 for 1 and 2 green. When it dies, you may search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, fill them, put them into your hand, then shuffle for 2, sack it, draw a card. Then we have Bituminous Blast. Instant for 3, black and red, has Cascade. So when you cast a spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards on the bottom in a random order, and Bituminous Blast deals 4 damage to target creature. Then we have Bloodbraid Elf. Creature, elf, berserker, 3/2 for 2 red and green, has haste, also Cascade. Then we have Eternal Witness. Creature, human, shaman, 2/1 for 1 and 2 green. When it enters the battlefield, you may return a target card from your graveyard to your hand. Then we have Savage Lands. A land enters the battlefield, tap, tap for black, red, or green. And Tainted Wood. Tap for colorless, tap to add black or green. Activate only if you control a swamp. Burnished Tar. Artifact creature, elk, 2/2 for 3. For 3, sack it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. And Death Reap Ritual. Enchantment for 2 black and green. Has Morbid, so at the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you may draw a card. Then we have Arcane Signet. Artifact for 2, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And Sir Conrad the Grim. Legendary creature, human knight, 5/4 for 3 and 2 black. Whenever another creature dies, or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Sir Conrad the Grim deals 1 damage to each opponent for 1 and black. Each player mills a card. Then we have Grapple with the Past. Instant for 1 and a green. Mill 3 cards. Then you may return a creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. And if you're wondering about milling, so to mill 3 cards, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then we have Dakmore Salvage. I like the foil on this one. Enters battlefield, tap, tap for black and dredge 2. If you would draw a card, you may mill 2 cards instead. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Again, milling, you're filling your graveyard. And a Cursed Marauder creature, zombie warrior, 2/1 for 1 and a black. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. Then we have Broodmaid Tyrant, creature dragon, 5/5 for 4, black, red, and green. With flying, when it enters battlefield, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Encore for 5, black, red, and green. Then we have Bloodbraid Challenger, creature, elf, berserker, 4/3 for 3, red and green. Has Cascade and Haste and Escape for 3, red and green. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Then we have Tempt with Mayhem. Instant for 1 and 2 red. Tempting offer. Choose target instant or sorcery spell. Each opponent may copy that spell. May choose new targets for the copy they control. You copy that spell once, plus an additional time for each opponent who copied the spell this way. You may choose new targets for the copies you control. So yeah, that would definitely cause some mayhem, I think. Alright, so next we have Gluttonous Hellkite. Creature Dragon, 3/3 for XX, black, red, and green. When you cast a spell, each player sacrifices X creatures. Gluttonous Hellkite enters battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each creature sacrificed this way. Also has flying and trample. Then we have Pyrogoyf, a creature Lurgoyf. Star, 1+star, so that's your power and toughness there, for 3 and a red. So its power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. So that's a pretty common thing amongst Lurgoyfs. Whenever Pyrogoyf or another Lurgoyf creature enters battlefield under your control, that creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. I think that's a new Lurgoyf actually. Polygoyf, creature Lurgoyf, star, 1+star for 2 and a green. Has trample and myriad. Its power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. Then we have a Barrowgoyf, creature Lurgoyf, star, 1+star for 2 and a black, death touch and lifelink. Its power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may mill that many cards. If you do, you may put a creature card from among them into your hand. Then we have a Sawhorn Nemesis, creature dinosaur, 2/4 for 3 and a red. As it enters battlefield, choose a player. If a source will deal damage to the chosen player or permanent they control, it deals double that damage instead. That's awesome. Then we have an Infested Thrynax, creature lizard, 4/4 for 3 black and green. Has flash when it enters battlefield until end of turn. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a number of 1/1 green sapling creature tokens equal to that creature's power. Then we have Final Act sorcery for 4 and 2 black. Choose one or more, destroy all creatures, destroy all planeswalkers, destroy all battles, exile all graveyards, each opponent loses all counters. I like the artwork on that one, very sinister. And Siege Gang Lieutenant, a creature goblin, nice. 2/2 for 3 and a red, has Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Those tokens gain haste until end of turn. And for 2, sacrifice a goblin. Siege Gang Lieutenant deals 1 damage to any target. His crew proudly maintains an accident rate of 100% per day. Yes, those goblins are rather accident prone. Then we have a Tarmogoyf Nest, Kindred Enchantment. So Kindred is the replacement for Tribal. Lurgoyf Aura for 2 and a green. Enchant land. The Enchanter land has pay 1 and green. Tap. Create a Tarmogoyf token. Then we have Exterminator Magmarch, artifact creature Phyrexian construct, 5/3 for 2 black and red. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only a single non-land permanent an opponent controls, if another opponent controls 1 or more non-land permanents that spell could target, choose one of those permanents, copy that spell. The copy targets the chosen permanent. Did you get all that? Because I certainly didn't. For 1 and a black, regenerate Exterminator Magmarch. Oh, and here we go. Liliana from the playmat here, but it is actually a different card. Liliana, Death's Majesty, Legendary Planeswalker. Liliana, this one was from Armenket, I believe. It's a mythic. 5 loyalty for 3 and 2 black. Her +1, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, mill 2 cards. Her -3, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. -7, destroy all non-zombie creatures. Then we have Maelstrom Pulse, sorcery for 1 black and green. Destroy target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. Then we have Junji the Midnight Sky. It's a mythic legendary creature, Dragon Spirit. 5/5 for 3 and 2 black. Has Flying and Menace. When it dies, choose one. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Or put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose 2 life. And again, I think that one really pops with the foil. Oh, we got another Planeswalker here. Garrick, Apex Predator, legendary Planeswalker Garrick. 5 loyalty for 5 black and green. His +1, destroy another target Planeswalker, another +1. Create a 3/3 black beast creature token with Death Touch -3. Destroy target creature, you gain life equal to its toughness -8. Target opponent gets an emblem with, whenever a creature attacks you, it gets +5/+5 and gains trample until end of turn. That is pretty brutal. And the Reaver Cleaver. This is a fun one. Legendary artifact equipment for 2 and a red. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. Equip for 3. Then we have Tempo of Malady. Enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, scry 1, tap 4, black or green. And Dead Bridge Chant. Enchantment for 4, black and green. It's a mythic. When it enters battlefield, mill 10 cards. There you go. Fill in that graveyard again. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature card, return it to the battlefield. Otherwise, return it to your hand. Then we have Colligan's Command Instant for 1 black and red. Choose 2. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Target player discards a card. Destroy target artifact. Colligan's Command deals 2 damage to any target. Then we have Azoni Thousand-Eyed, legendary creature, Elf Shaman, 2/3 for 2, 2 black and 2 green, has Undergrowth. So when it enters battlefield, create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token for each creature card in your graveyard. And for black and green, sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Then we have a Lurgoyf, creature Lurgoyf. Star 1+* for 2 and 2 green. And you know the deal, its power is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. Then we have Selvala, Heart of the Wilds, another mythic. Legendary creature, Elf Scout, 2/3 for 1 and 2 green. Whenever another creature enters battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than each other creature's power. And for green, tap, add X mana in any combination of colours, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Then we have Kessig Wolfrun, another land here. Tap 4 colourless. And for X, red and green, tap, target creature gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Archon of Cruelty, creature Archon, 6/6 for 6 and 2 black. And it's another mythic. Flying. Whenever it enters battlefield or attacks target opponent, sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, discards a card and loses 3 life. You draw a card and gain 3 life. That is actually pretty brutal. Then we have Maskwood Nexus, artifact for 4. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. For 3, tap, create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. It is every creature type, so that also means it's a Lurgoyf. Then we got another Planeswalker here. This is a bit of an odd one. Grist the Hungertide. Legendary Planeswalker Grist. 3 loyalty for 1 black and green. As long as Grist the Hungertide isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. And it's also a mythic. Is +1, create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then mill a card. If an insect card was milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat this process. Is -2, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, destroy a target creature or planeswalker. And it's -5. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Then we have an Ignoble Hierarch. Creature Goblin Shaman, 0/1 for a single green, has Exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Tap 4 black, red or green. Then we have a Necrogoyf, of course, a creature Lurgoyf. Star 4 for 3 and 2 black. Its power is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. This one's a little bit different than the others because the toughness is not affected. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card, has Madness for 1 and 2 black. If you discard this card, discard it into exile, and when you do, cast it for its madness cost or put it into your graveyard. And he is a rare. I thought he might have been a mythic, but nope. Mortivore, creature Lurgoyf, star for 2 and 2 black. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. And for black, regenerate Mortivore, so the next time this creature will be destroyed, instead tap it, remove it from combat, and heal all damage on it. So that one, another one, a little bit different than the typical Lurgoyfs. Then we have Chandra's Ignition, sorcery for 3 and 2 red. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. Then we have a Viridescent Bog. It's a land for 1 tap, add black and green. Okay, split card here. We have Find and Finality. So Find is a sorcery for either black or green, so 2 lots of those. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. And Finality, sorcery for 4 black and green. You may put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature you control. Then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. And then we have Mossfire Valley. It's a land for 1 tap, add green and red. Then we have Zeatora the Incinerator, a mythic legendary creature. Demon Dragon, 6/6 for 3, black, red, and green. It has flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Zeatora the Incinerator deals damage to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. Alright, so sacrificing maybe a Lurgoyf would do a bunch of damage. We got Canyon Slough, land, swamp, mountain, tap 4, black or red. Enters battlefield, tap, cycle it for 2. And Cinderglade. It's a land, tap 4, red or green. Enters battlefield, tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Exotic Orchard, tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. And Shadowblood Ridge, a land for 1 tap, add black and red. Then we have Sheltered Thicket, add red or green, and it enters battlefield, tap, cycle for 2. Smoldering Marsh, add black or red, enters battlefield, tap unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Temple of Abandon, enters battlefield, tapped. When it enters battlefield, scry 1, tap 4, red or green. And Temple of Malice, enters tapped. When it enters battlefield, scry 1, tap 4, black or red. Raging Ravine, enters battlefield, tap 4, red or green. And for 2, red and green, until end of turn, it becomes a 3/3 red and green elemental creature with, whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it, it's still a land. Then we have Brawn, creature incarnation, 3/3 for 3 and a green. Has trample. As long as Brawn is in your graveyard and you control a forest, creatures you control have trample. Then we have Faithless Looting, sorcery for a single red, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Has flashback for 2 and a red. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. Followed by Rampant Growth, sorcery for 1 and a green. Search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And Anger, creature incarnation, 2/2 for 3 and a red, has haste. As long as Anger is in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. Tranquil Thicket, enters battlefield, tap for green, cycle for green. And Stitch's Supplier, creature zombie, 1/1 for a single black. When it enters battlefield or dies, mill 3 cards. Grave Shifter, creature shapeshifter, 2/2 for 3 and a black. Has changeling, so this creature's every creature type. When it enters battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Then we have Talisman of Resilience, an artifact for 2, tap for colorless, or tap to add black or green. It deals 1 damage to you. Altar of the Goyf, kindred artifact Lurgoyf for 5. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of card types among cards in all graveyards. Lurgoyf creatures you control have trample. That is pretty cool. Then we have Siphon Mine, sorcery for 3 and a black. Each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. And Talisman of Indulgence, artifact for 2. tap for colorless or tap to add black or red. It deals 1 damage to you. Then we have Sakura Tribe Elder, creature Snake Shaman, 1/1 for 1 and a green. And if you sacrifice it, you get to search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And Terramorphic Expanse, a land, tap, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Alright, next. Looks like we have some more lands. So we have Tainted Peak, it's a land, tap for colors, tap for black or red, activate only if you control a swamp. Then we have Riveteer's Overlook. When it enters battlefield, sacrifice it. When you do, search your library for a basic swamp, mountain or forest card, put it onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle and you gain 1 life. And I'm guessing there are a bunch of basic lands in this deck. Riveteer's Charm, instant for black, red and green. Choose one. Target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker they control with the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Until your next end step, you may play those cards. Exile target player's graveyard. So that can hose your opponent if they have the same deck. Forgotten Cave. So land enters battlefield, tap, tap for red, cycle up for red. Then we have Path of Ancestry, enters battlefield, tapped. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. So scrying means look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom. Then we have Lightning Greaves. Artifact equipment for 2. Equip creature as Haste and Shroud. So that means it can't be the target of spells or abilities. Equip for 0. And Myriad Landscape, enters battlefield, tap, tap for colorless for 2 tap. Sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle. I was wondering when we would find this. Soul Ring, artifact for 1, tap for 2 colorless, pretty much a staple in every commander deck. Then we have Talisman of Impulse, artifact for 2, tap for colorless or tap to add red or green, it deals 1 damage to you. And Evolving Wilds, tap, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Alright, now here we have the basic lands. We've got swamps, 4 of those, mountains, 3 of those, forests, 5 of those. Okay, so yeah, a lot of other lands in this deck as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the tokens. We got a 1/1 Goblin in foil, and alas, on the other side, not in foil. So here's the Notorious Tarmogoyf as a token. Token creature Lurgoyf, star, 1+star. Its power is equal to the number of card types on cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. So this token's mana cost is 1 and a green. And another Tarmogoyf, this time in foil. We've got a 1/1 Goblin, another Tarmogoyf, because we are going to be churning those guys out. 1/1 Saproling, and a 5/5 Flying Dragon. On the other side, we have a treasure token. So these, you tap, sack this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. We've got a zombie in foil, followed by an insect, 1/1, 1/1 insect, and a 2/2 zombie. We've got a 3/3 beast with Death Touch on the other side, a shapeshifter, 2/2 with changeling. This token's every creature type. Another shapeshifter, and another 5/5 flying dragon, sapling, 1/1. On the other side, a Garruk Apex Predator emblem. So you might remember the Garruk Planeswalker from earlier. We've got a 5/5 flying dragon. On the other side, a copy token. And parts of the turn, popular Magic formats, Commander is the best, right? Okay, so this one, although it is cheaper than the other decks, a little less interesting, but I do think you can have some fun with the graveyard synergies. You do have a bunch of Lurgoyfs here, but sadly, the big one that defined them as a species, the Tarmogoyf, is nowhere to be found, although we do have the Tarmogoyf tokens, I suppose. So let me know in the comments what you think about this deck. You're planning to pick it up. And if you've missed any of our other Modern Horizons 3 openings, including the Collector Edition Commander decks, or pop a link in the corner to the complete playlist. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.